So, our first speaker for this session is Dr. Kattesh, globally recognized as the father of green nanotechnology and in biomaterials. Professor Kattesh V Katti um, is MSc Education, PhD, DSc, FRSC, FNAI, Curator, School, University of Missouri, Columbia. Dr. Katti is a pioneer in the field of Nano Ayurvedic medicine, a new medical modality which he discovered by the application of green nanotechnology to Ayurvedic holistic medicine. The US Patents and Trademarks Office has approved the use of Nano Ayurvedic medicine. In 2023, he was elected to the American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineering College of Fellows. United Nations has recognized Dr. Katti as the global expert in green nanotechnology and in nano radio pharmaceuticals. Professor Katti has won the International Heavy Medal Award, a global award for excellence in nuclear sciences and nuclear medicine, regarded as equivalent to Nobel Prize in nuclear sciences. With these words, now may I please invite Dr. Kattesh to take over, and we also have a presentation.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ritul, for that kind introduction. I'm not sure if I should thank you for those tough questions you asked at the beginning of the session. Thank God you're not my teacher. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this Augustus meeting, G20 C20, happening in India, happening here in your beautiful city of Ahmedabad. Most importantly, happening in this wonderful campus, the campus of the University of Indus University. I would like to thank, before I begin, Gajanand Dange, Dr. Gajanand Dange, to put together this terrific meeting, bringing all the subject experts from interdisciplinary areas. Dr. Nagesh Bhandari, who extended me this invitation, as well as Dr. Ritu Bhandari, who worked with him in making this event possible. Of course, Radhika Bhandari, if she has forgotten another aeroplane, she's going to run out and put another aeroplane on the campus. Yeah. Okay, so that bell, if you want to save electricity, it's about sustainability. You may as well turn it off. Yeah, yeah. So what I will discuss over the next 12 minutes plus 7 to 8 minutes borrowed from Ritul. Something about Indic wisdom. We have touch based in some lectures, but we are going to look at from a slightly different angle, more along the lines of medical sciences. Excuse me, because this angle is tough. So the outline of the lecture is shown here. What I'm going to do is take you through a journey, why and how the Ayurvedic medicine, which started through our Shastras, why it has not really reached the masses. I'm not talking about the West or the East here, the masses. Everybody should get the benefit of Ayurvedic medicine. What is missing? Rather than sit and criticize, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, let's collectively think about how we can make this happen. Why do we do that? We do that because we have this powerful hypothesis. The hypothesis is that there is something in it for everybody. If you're talking about Ayurvedic medicine, the depth is so huge. We simply haven't realized the potential of this Ayurvedic Shastric modality. What do we do for that? So that's what I'm going to focus upon. So Indic wisdom, I would be preaching to the choir. It all started way back, through Atharvana Veda, thousands and thousands of years ago. Just to remind all of us, the term medicine to our planet was given by Ayurvedic medicine. It was given, it was provided through the Shastric knowledge. But as we sit here and deliberate today, Ayurvedic medicine, as I pointed out yesterday, has reached less than 1% of the global population. 99% of all medicines, including diseases treated right at this point of time in various hospitals in India, including here in Ahmedabad, they all use medicines discovered in the West. Okay, there is nothing wrong. But there is something wrong there in the context that patients should get the opportunity to have additional modalities. Why? A patient suffering from a debilitating disease, he or she needs more possibilities for life survival. Right now, we are choosing products from this or that, all originated from the allopathic medicine. We haven't really explored, we haven't really brought the wealth of medical knowledge that we have, our ancestors have left with us. How do we do that? That's an important question for all of us. Very difficult to read, I understand. It basically shows the history of medicine, the genesis of medicine. Different civilizations have tried to do a lot of different things, but no civilization, in my opinion, would come anywhere close to the depth of knowledge that Ayurveda has brought to this planet. There is a broken bridge here. This is what we are trying to connect that gap. That gap, connecting that gap is important, all in the quest to save human lives. Let's remember what happened last 3 years. We had the COVID pandemic. We had very limited possibilities of treatment. At the end of all of it, we saw millions of people die. Think about, I'm not here to criticize any medication, any modality. I'm here to see how different modalities can coexist to help humanity. So that bridge is broken because early part of the 19th century, chemical-based approaches, what we call today as Ayurvedic medicine, they started receiving investments. Throughout the 20th century into the 21st century, investments, 99.9% of investments have flown into making Ayurvedic medicine what it is today. So it is not the fault of Ayurvedic medicine. The investments which went into allopathic medicine allowed them to test, allowed them to fail number of times, and then the system has become reasonably perfect. That's why we use them. That's why when you go to a doctor, they prescribe. If you have urinary tract infection, there is an antibiotic. If there is a lung cancer, there is a treatment modality. If there is a glioblastoma, there is an allopathic medicine. What does it take for our doctors globally to start prescribing Ayurvedic medicine? Why is it important? We need to fill that gap. We need to construct that broken bridge, make it a smooth pathway so that all human beings can coexist happily. Because then they will have wealth of antibiotics, anti-cancer agents, agents that can treat COVID available through the Ayurvedic modality. We don't have them yet. So there are approaches we can address that. So I would be preaching to the choir in front of these high dignitaries who have read so well in Shastra and so forth. This is what Sushruta mentions. Sushruta used, along with his colleagues, minerals, metals, along with herbal cocktail. What is not mentioned by Sushruta or anybody, it may be there, but we haven't uncovered them yet. What is that constitution? When you mix certain minerals, when you mix certain metallic precursors with herbal cocktail from clove or cardamom or mango or gooseberry or Kadamba, a tree so dear to the heart of Lord Krishna. So what is the chemical constitution? So you might tell, why do we care? If it treats the disease, yeah, why should we even worry about it? Yeah, we need to worry about it. If you want to reproduce that, if you want to scale it up, if you want to have a reproducible medical result, we need to scale them up. We need to reproduce the results. We need to provide a dose. We need to understand the mechanism. That is something missing from Ayurveda. No blames. Why is it missing? Those billions and billions of dollars which went into allopathic medicine modality, those dollars did not flow into making Ayurvedic medicine modality to where it should be. So, uh, if you ask me, is it possible? Very much possible. So, I'm going to describe a short story how we have taken from where Ayurveda has been 5,000 years ago to a point that we can really believe in Ayurvedic medicine, define the dose, understand the mechanism, actually treat human cancer patients. It is very much possible. So these are the pillars of medicine. We need to, oh, sorry, I went back. Yeah. How do we do it? We do it through a reverse engineering pathway. There is so much known in Ayurvedic medicine. We don't need to reinvent. It's all known. But how do we borrow the principles of Ayurvedic medicine, apply modern biological, modern chemical, modern physical, modern mathematical concepts and distill out something that is required for treating human patients, distill out something that is required to making Ayurvedic medicine scientifically rigorous, universally acceptable. Doctors sitting in the United States one day, hopefully sooner, should be able to prescribe a particular Ayurvedic medicine because he or she would believe this medication would treat a particular disease as well as the allopathic medicine, perhaps in many instances significantly better. That's the state we all want to go. The genesis of our approach is shown on this slide. We discovered, I hate to use the word discover because it's a, reinventing, I should say. We reinvented uh, what existed in the bottles, in the vessels of Sushruta. Okay, so that's why I use the word decoding what Sushruta was talking about. He was already talking about medicine at the atomic level. I'm sure our gurus here sitting, Anu is well defined in Shastras. We need to learn a lot from you. That's why I said we all need to be collaborating with you. Likewise, you also might consider collaborating with us. Yeah. So we, what I have shown here is really happening. All these plants defined in Ayurveda, cloves, cardamom, gooseberry, mango leaves, name it. Every single one of them, did you ever think that they're tanks with lots of electrons? They're electron reservoirs. We never conceived Ayurveda to be a subject matter where we can extract electrons. And after all, what is an electron? It is a source of energy. And in medical production, medical synthesis, we use different chemicals that are rich in electrons. You have two ways of doing it. Either choose the most toxic way or choose a highly non-toxic and a sustainable way, which is one of the thematic matters of this conference. So we produce basically these nano medicine products by simply mixing herbal cocktails with the metallic precursors as shown here, and we produced varieties of different types of nanoparticles. I'm introducing a new word. Nanoparticle, if you want a physical definition, touch your hair without disturbing your hairstyle, divide the width of your hair by 100,000. That is the size of a nanoparticle, which means Sushruta was already approaching at the atomic level. The knowledge of atomic physics, atomic chemistry during the prehistoric times, during the Vedic times was profound. No wonder they were able to put the satellites into the orbit and so forth. But all that script is not there. It is our job to uncover that, to decode that. And one aspect of the decoding I have shown here. Then we wanted to systematize that, scale up that so that products, yeah. This was the introduction. Now the lecture will start. Yeah. So what you see here is a scale up. Yeah, a lot of scientists, all of you know, we get excited with the result. At the end of the day, public hardly gets anything. What happened to my tax dollars or tax rupees? Uh, you know, publications, patents, awards will not treat human patients. What would treat human patients are the products. So we need to keep our focus on how to alleviate pain and suffering of human beings, regardless of the modality. But the focus is Ayurvedic modality here. So we have scaled it up, uh, licensed to companies. Why? We talked about economic viability. We talked about monetization. It takes enormous amount of investment to take any molecule, including Ayurvedic molecules, from bench to bed. Somebody has to pay money. So investors will come forward if you have a patent and then license that patent to investors, get the money from them, then make Ayurvedic medicine equally effective, perhaps even more effective than allopathic medicines. So that's why I always talk about in Ayurveda through Shastra, perhaps I know that the Pandits, they don't want to mix Shastra with economic viability and all that, but all of that is required to take us collectively from where we are to the finish line. So we can do that in a very justifiable way, in a very legal way. So one example I'll be giving throughout this lecture. This process, by the way, we sustainable lifestyle. What is that? There's numerous definitions. In my opinion, one important definition that's important for all of us, we want to live on a planet with clean water, clean air, uh, contributing minimally to global warming, perhaps contributing zero or even negative to global warming. All of that is happening when you formulate Ayurvedic medications. We have never taken advantage of that. So I'm showing one example here. This process, which gave us this particular gold nanoparticles with chemicals that are there on mango in mango peel. Um, the production process is net carbon negative. It is negative. It's not even zero. The whole world is trying to approach zero carbon emission. This Ayurvedic process actually helps the planet, produces drugs to treat human patients. And why is this so important? I'll tell you what pharmaceutical companies which are producing allopathic medicine, how much carbon footprint they are contributing to this planet. These are the examples of different companies all across the world. A single allopathic drug will raise the global temperature. We're talking about thousands of different drugs. No wonder our ocean levels are rising, global temperatures are rising, whereas the Ayurvedic approach, if this is globalized, we have a great opportunity to bring down those temperatures while producing life-saving products. I'll be skipping a few slides because I put some of those slides for the next session. I'm going to give another example that is dear to all our hearts. Kadamba tree. How many of you have not heard Kadamba tree? Everybody knows Kadamba tree because all of us pray Lord Krishna for, for everything, including the success of this function. So the Kadamba tree, yeah, I didn't realize that I had the microphone. I don't need to be standing that close. The Kadamba tree, the leaves, they are rich in electrons. Is that audible or you want me to be there? Okay. Then we went to Kadamba tree because this is kind of a a Hitchcock movie that a murder has occurred, then you go about solving the murder mystery. So Sushruta already had produced numerous cocktails of medications. I bet he would have used Kadamba tree. So we went to Kadamba tree, extracted the leaves, and then showed to the world and to ourselves that we can create nano medicine, nano Ayurvedic medicine drugs using Kadamba tree. If you're wondering how a nanoparticle would look like, that is shown here. These are nanoparticles. Each that dark dot, it represents a cluster of gold atoms. So again, a connection that what we are doing in the 21st century at the atomic level was already known in the during the prehistoric Vedic times. This is how an atom looks like. Why do we need these? Why did they mix those cocktails with minerals or gold precursors? They knew something profound. They knew that as the sizes of pharmaceuticals decrease, the efficacy would go up. But if you bought an Ayurvedic product right now from any store, analyze the content of nanoparticles, it is less than 1 or 2%. You need to get to 60, 70, perhaps even 90, 99%. We are not there yet. This approach produces Ayurvedic drugs at the atomic scale to produce uh, drugs at the atomic scale in close to 100% purity. That's not there yet. So this is the approach we have discovered that we can get there. Why is it important? I'm showing real live examples. If the sizes of pharmaceuticals decreases, they not only attack the tumor cells, they should, but it attacks the tumor machinery. All of you have heard a cancer patient going through treatment, after a year, they show good signs of improvement. The doctor will declare that this cancer patient is fully treated. 5 years down the road, a vast majority of those patients would have to go back to the doctor because the cancer which would have started from the liver would migrate to the bone or to the brain or to the breast, different parts of the body. Why? Modern drugs, allopathic drugs, a vast majority of them, they do not destroy the cancer cell machinery. Whereas the nano Ayurvedic medicine drugs have this tremendous capability to go and really destroy the machinery. It's just like, you need to take the engine of the car out in order to completely destroy it and stop it. That's what these Ayurvedic medicine drugs do. As you are seeing here, all around the tumor cells here, you have the gold nanoparticles encapsulated with nano Ayurvedic medicine drugs. They completely destroy the tumor. Tumors start with big lumps of tissue. After treatment, the tumor size keeps going down. Many examples. The take home story is Ayurvedic medicine knew something that we have failed to recognize. And through this approach, we have seen what our Shastra told us. You need to get these medications to the atomic level. And that's what we have been able to do by decoding what Sushruta may have thought. This is for, if you ask me what is the type of cancer, all different cancers, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, we have examples for almost everything. This is intervention of nano Ayurvedic medicine. We coined the terminology nano Ayurvedic medicine because we are using tools of nanotechnology to make Ayurvedic medicine not only more effective, we are using tools of nanotechnology to really understand Ayurvedic medicine at the atomic level. More examples. So this is an example of a nano Ayurvedic medicine where a human patient with multiple myeloma was treated. I'm just going to run through examples. This is this is for prostate cancer. Same result. Pre-treatment, very large mass of the tumor. After using nano Ayurvedic medicine, you can see complete destruction of the tumor. Breast cancer, same story. There's an example of groups of triple negative breast cancer patients. If you, I know majority of you are not in the medical field. Those of you who are in the medical field, you all recognize there are no treatments for triple negative breast cancers. The quality of life is really horrible. And a vast majority of patients, unfortunately, would die. So, nano Ayurvedic medicine drugs, their effect was such that they are significantly superior than chemotherapy. If a patient is administered with chemotherapy, the actually tumor burden keeps increasing. It enhances the cancer. Whereas the nano Ayurvedic medicine completely shuts off the growth of the tumor. Patients led an almost normal life. This is what happens with the chemotherapy. The disease, the residues of the drugs remain in the body and the disease comes back. If you used nano Ayurvedic medicine, the disease can be completely treated. Another example, I can't write the name here, a celebrity from India was treated with a stage 4 ovarian cancer. Pre-treatment, you can see lots of tumors. Post-treatment, there is no detectable tumor cancer in the body. 80% of the global population, they would love to use herbal medicine. This is WHO's forecast. Nobody wants to use chemical-based medicine. Chemicals are toxic. Unfortunately, we cannot give herbal medicine right now to those 80% of the population because we don't have those tools. We have started this journey, and this journey is looking very bright for all of us. So the Nano Ayurvedic medicine, which uses Ayurvedic Shastra principles, has a tremendous future for everybody. And I'm just going to close down the lecture after a few slides. I'm not done yet. COVID-19, which broke out throughout the world. It didn't distinguish between income groups. It didn't distinguish between um, boundaries between nations. It affected everybody. Uh, we all took vaccines. I took vaccines. All of you have taken vaccines. But we had this very powerful Ayurvedic medicine. We could not go out and advertise. If you ask me why, we live in a capitalistic world. There are certain restrictions that were put in place on all of us, everybody. Yeah, it happens globally. I'm not trying to criticize. But the time has come for us to look at the power of Nano Ayurvedic medicine for treating infections. Here are examples. If somebody has a Candida albicans infection, look at the amount of Nano Ayurvedic medicine that is required to completely destroy that bacteria. These are silver-based products. The amount, if you look at in microgram per ml, it's almost like an impurity of a metal in water. It doesn't take a whole lot to treat these diseases. That's for Candida bacteria, Staphylococcus, one of the deadliest bacteria. These are the drug-resistant bacteria. If somebody has an infection starting with staph, unfortunately, our allopathic antibiotics do not work. These are drug-resistant bacteria. Ayurvedic medicine has the answer for that. So I'm going to show you more examples of that. This particular bacteria, same problem. This is a pretty deadly bacteria, leads to varieties of infections. Again, Nano Ayurvedic medicine, which is of Indic origin, which has the Indic philosophy built into it, has an answer for that. E. coli, all of you have heard about that, very deadly, same thing, highly effective. If you use Nano Ayurvedic medicine approach, you can completely neutralize this bacteria. And the last one, Nano Ayurvedic medicine treatment for COVID, highly effective. The silver nanoparticles will go and bind the spike proteins on the virus. Once they bind, the spike protein can never enter the healthy cell. You might ask me, this picture looks great, graphic looks great. Have you tested on humans? Yes, we have tested on hundreds of thousands of human patients. Yeah, yeah. Typically, patients, when they showed a positive result for COVID, they were administered with these Nano Ayurvedic medicine drugs. 24 to 48 hours, every single one of those patients showed negative. Yeah. So that's the power of Nano Ayurvedic medicine. So if you ask me why this whole journey was cut off, there's only one reason. Investment right from the early part of the 19th century did not go into Ayurvedic medicine. A major recommendation for the G20 is that we need to invest. It's not just the government. There has to be a public-private partnership. Why? Because there is something in it for all of us. We all want to lead a normal life. We all want to lead a high quality life. I didn't describe how we use Nano Ayurvedic modalities for purifying water, for elongating the lifespan of milk, for elongating the lifespan of foods, for food security. We can use Nano Ayurvedic approach for all of those applications. So investment is part one. We need to start educating our own children right from elementary school on the power of Ayurvedic medicine. We need to tell them Ayurvedic medicine will not help us unless we inject science into it, unless we inject engineering into it, unless we understand the mathematical component of Ayurvedic medicine. So everybody is important. In this approach, collaboration is the key. We need chemists, physicists, biologists, uh, Shastra Pandits. Everybody has to play a role here. This is a highly interdisciplinary approach. I have shown in our own small group what we are able to do. If we can do in our small pockets, pan India, it can elevate the field of medicine to levels. I can guarantee you that we haven't seen that yet. So I have described the power of nano Ayurvedic medicine for treating COVID. Um, you might be wondering, most of the allopathic drugs are toxic. Ayurvedic medicines are toxic. There are many, many celebrities who took Swarna Bhasma for elongation of lives. We also know that a vast majority of them unfortunately died because of gold toxicosis. They were taking Swarna Bhasma. The gold went and deposited in the kidney. So now is the question, what happens if we consume nano Ayurvedic drugs? They are at the atomic level. Here are the results. Nano Ayurvedic drugs, they do not go to the kidney. The percentage of the drug going to the kidney is zero. So this is where you should be thinking, nano Ayurvedic drugs are way superior, both in terms of efficacy as well as in terms of collateral toxic effects. They do not create collateral toxic effects if they are properly developed. That's the real power, in my opinion, of nano medicine drugs. This is just a short history. There are lots of nanotechnology discoveries going on throughout the world, right from 1857. And we have been fortunate through our approach. We have applied nanotechnology through the green nanotechnology process in making nano Ayurvedic medicine more effective. This is a proud moment for all of us. It is not that we have discovered. What did John F. Kennedy say? If you're standing on the shore side, if there is a larger tide, that tide will lift all boats up. That tide will not look at whether it is a Kattesh's boat or Dr. Bhandari's boat. That tide will lift everybody up. That's what is happening here. We have been able to get the first ever global patent on nano Ayurvedic medicine through the United States Patent Office. Yeah, it took 5,000 years from Sushruta's times until now. It has taken a lot of time, but I'm trying to tell all of you it is doable. Even in the United States Patent Office, they were willing to accept our terminology of nano Ayurvedic medicine. So this is the first ever global patent. I want many Ayurvedic doctors all across India to really start thinking about injecting science into their profession. Then we'll have not one patent. In 5 years, we have 50,000 patents. All of them are important in taking these drugs at the grassroots level to everybody. I think we have built this bridge through this approach, this bridge that connects the Western medicine to Eastern medicine, and the pathway that is there on this bridge will help all patients, regardless of whether they are in the US or Europe or India or any other country. This is for the people. And the nano Ayurvedic medicine is even more significant. It goes beyond people. It really connects the global population with the power or the wisdom of our Shastras. So there is something very profound about it. Yeah, these are some of the conclusions. If you're wondering if we have products beyond cancer, yes, nano Ayurvedic medicine treats cancer, treats deadly diseases, arthritis, diabetes, many formulations we have developed. And Kadamba is an institution in India which is promoting this. I want many other institutions to come forward, not just for production, but for education. So on the recommendations, we need to get into the educational system. We need to bring Shastric approaches to education. As I said, right from elementary school, we need to have curricula describing the power of Shastras, not just by chanting mantras. We have done that. We have done that for thousands of years. We need to tell our children, Shastras have something very applied in terms of developing new engineering products, medical products, That's why the education needs to start from the primary school going all the way up into colleges. Second recommendation, this modality, as you have seen, Ayurvedic modality, its potential can only be realized if we collectively invested into this modality on par with the allopathic modality. Why did the allopathic modality become so popular? It has taken 150 plus years. It has taken billions and billions of dollars of investment. The question is, you might say, we don't have that level of investing power. That is fine. Whatever we can invest, we need to make strategic investments. Bring the public-private partnership. The private investors have something big here. They can see return on their investments. Once they see taste of the return on investments, they will come back and reinvest. How long they need to invest? Let's ask the Pandits here. The power and the depth of Shastra is so huge, it can unravel the field of medicine forever. That's the power of Ayurvedic medicine. And those are some of the recommendations. I want to thank the group. I'm just a spokesperson here. The brains behind this are numerous people, or 50 past students. It has taken 30 plus years of both investment of time and money. And I want to thank my wife. She's not speaking here. Um, we all say that there's a woman behind man's success. That's not true. In my case, she's in front of me all the time. Yeah, she has contributed immensely to all the success, what we have achieved. Yeah. And lots of agencies who have funded, international agencies. I go to Brazil, I go to France, travel, member of the United Nations. Now they're telling me that Ayurvedic medicine is a way to go. So I tell them that's exactly the case. Yeah, with that, I would like to thank all of you. I know I took the liberty to speak more than my allotted time, but I wanted to tell this story. There is something in it for all of us. That was the reason why I took extra time. Uh, I think we can discuss further during the question answer time. Thank you again.